Hi everybody, I'm Jen, and we're going to talk about pens today. Most popular question that I see is what pens are best to use in the Erin Condren Life Planner on washi tape and on stickers. So we're going to jump right in. I think it's important to know that there are 4 kinds of pens. The first is going to be a ballpoint. Ballpoint pens, everybody knows what a ballpoint pen is. Second is going to be fountain. We are not going to be talking about fountain pens today. Sorry, fountain pens. Third is going to be a rollerball. The other thing that this is called sometimes is a roller gel. Actually, most often is a roller gel. Same concept. The ink is a little more water-based. It takes a little bit longer to dry than a regular ballpoint pen. And then the fourth is going to be a marker pen. And these you'll see also referred to as a felt tip pen or a porous point pen. So the ballpoint pen is going to be like your Papermate Profile Bold, the Inkjoy. The Rollerball is going to be your Pentel Energel, your Pilot G2, your Coletto, the Friction. And then, of course, the marker pens are going to include things like Sharpie pens and Papermate Flares and Stettlers and Stabilos and the Erin Condren pens and Ella pen. So those are all the different kinds. I kind of put together a little sampler with washi tape and stickers so that you guys can kind of get a good idea for what it looks like all up close. So we'll start with the ballpoint. These are Papermate Profiles. It's a really bold point. I think it's a 1.4. It skips sometimes, but I really like a bolder point for a ballpoint pen. So if you like a bold point ballpoint pen, that would be my recommendation. The Inkjoy is going to come in a ton of colors, and it's a finer point. Out of all the people that use a ballpoint pen in their planners, I would say Papermate Inkjoy is going to be probably what I see the most of. And then on washi tape, you'll see that it writes actually pretty well. It's not something that I would probably use all the time just because it's not as bright, but if you need to, you can get by and it's not really going to smear all that much. Same with stickers. It's going to work just fine on stickers. There really isn't a difference between the Profile and the Inkjoy, so I won't show both, but that's pretty much what they look like on the paper. So those are ballpoint. We're going to move on to rollerball or roller gel. My personal favorite is a Pilot G2. It's what I use on all my planner pages. I find it to be really inky. I don't know, there's something about the ink just kind of soaks up in the page that I really like. Definitely my favorite. Next that I just tried recently is the Pentel Energel. These are really cool. They dry super fast. And they're very, very bright. So for anyone looking for a great lefty roller gel, I would recommend the Pentel Energel. Frictions also fall in this category. They're made by Pilot. The great thing about the Friction pens, they fade a little bit, which is a downside, but the great thing is that they're erasable. So, if you like to erase things, but you still want to use a pen, you don't want to use a pencil, the Friction is a great option. I don't use these in my planner, but I use these in my address book. I have an Erin Condren address book, so they're a great option for the address book. And then the last is going to be your Coletto. Coletto is a multi-pen, so you pick the ink cartridges. Usually it comes in 3, 4, or 5 cartridges, and then you can pick your color. I think, they have like probably 15 or 20 options. The top pops off, and you just kind of, refill with your choices. It's great because you can carry multiple colors in one pen, and then, when it's time to use one, you just pick one. That one didn't click in right. I'll use the light blue. And then you kind of get the one that you want. It also comes in a variety of points, although they're all thinner. So it's going to be a 0.3, a 0.4, or a 0.5. They're made by Pilot. So this is a Pilot Coletto. If you like a fine point roller gel, this is a great, great, great option. With all of the roller gels, you're going to have some trouble writing on the washi tape because even though you'll see that it's kind of bright, it smears. It takes a really long time to dry and smear. So I would not recommend it for washi tape. But on stickers, it's great. It still takes a second to dry, which I know bothers some people, but I don't mind. I really prefer the Pilot G2 for stickers. That's what I use most of the time on stickers because it just stands out really nicely. So those are the Rollerball or roller gel. Most of these you can get, really all except the Colettos, I would say you can get at an office supply store. Frictions, if you want them in a variety of colors, you're probably going to have to order specialty from, you know, either overseas or, I don't know, JenPlans might have them, but the Colettos you'll have to get either through JenPlans or eBay. The last category that we're going to talk about is the marker or felt tip or porous point. We'll start with a Sharpie pen, not to be confused with a Sharpie permanent marker. This is the Sharpie Ultrafine Point Permanent Marker. This is the Sharpie pen. Sharpie pens are great on planner pages. They will not bleed through. Since we're talking about bleed through and showing, you know, you can see that they kind of shadow a little bit, but not too badly. Definitely not enough to bother most people. The Sharpie pens are great because they're a very fine tip and they're not super bright. If you like kind of a more muted color, the Sharpie pen is going to be a great option for you. However, not great pen, not great on washi tape. That's going to smear. And on stickers, you're going to see with all of the porous point pens that they're going to bubble. You can't really tell here because it's a little far away, but it's, well, that's actually not too bad. I would say probably out of these, the Sharpie is going to be your best bet. But when I show you with a flare, for example, you'll see what I mean. So that's a Sharpie pen. Papermate Flare, I would say, is probably the one that I see most people love in this category. Mostly because they are super, super bright and bold, and they kind of shadow a little bit, but you can't really, you know, see any bleeding. But again, they're not going to be good options for washi tape, and they're definitely not going to be good options for stickers because they're going to bubble and they're not going to dry. So those are the Papermate Flares. The Stettlers are next. These are the triangular barrel tripless fine liners. They're very comfortable to hold. They have a rounded tip. So if you look at like a Stabilo, they'll have kind of like a more squared tip. So you'll have to hold them directly on the paper. I kind of write on an angle. So if you want, I don't have any Stabilos to show you, but they're very comparable to the Stettlers. They write extremely smooth. They're a little bit brighter than the Sharpie pens. They're not quite as bold as the Papermate Flares, but I still think they're a really great option. They're going to do the same thing on the washi tape and on the stickers. They're going to bubble a little bit and not write very well, so we can kind of skip that part. Next is going to be the Erin Condren pens. I think these are hit or miss from what I've seen. I really like mine a lot. I must have gotten a good batch because they're bright, they're fine tipped, they're nice to hold. The ink doesn't run out. I really like them, but you're gonna have the same problem with the washi tape and the stickers that you did with all the other ones. Last but not least is gonna be the Le Pen, and you'll be able to find these in a specialty stationery store. Kind of in the same category. I'm kind of about these. They don't really do it for me, but I know a lot of people really like them for other stationery options. I don't know how to describe it. They kind of, you can tell where you press down a little bit more than with the other ones. Like when you're starting a letter, when you're ending a letter. I don't know if they're more water-based than the others or what, but they're not my preferred, but I know a lot of people like them. So those are going to be all of the felt tip or porous point or marker pens on the list. And then really last but not least is going to be the best option for washi tape, but the worst option for your planner pages, and those are going to be Sharpie permanent markers. So I think everybody kind of knows what's going to happen here. Sharpie permanent is going to bleed through. Ooh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, you can't really tell because it's the calendar. You can kind of tell. So those are going to bleed through. So you're not going to want to use them on your planner pages, but they're wonderful. This is a navy. I use a black Sharpie permanent. They're wonderful on washi tape, and they really do well on stickers too. So that's going to be a great option for washi tape. And then of course, you know, here's the fine point. again, I think everybody knows that these are not going to be good options for your planner pages, but great options for washi tape and stickers. I prefer the ultra fine point. I know a lot of people like the Sharpie too. If you want to see some of the colors, these are some of the other colors. The Stuttlers, the Erin Condren, the Pilot G2 and the different points, Pentel Energel, those are all the Papermate flares, the Friction, the Coletto, and then what's up there? Sharpie pens. So that's pretty much everything. I hope that was helpful. Most of them you can buy at an office supply store like a Target, Walmart. Some of them you're going to need to get at a specialty store like an Art Store, Michaels, or Hobby Lobby. Like the Stabilos, which I don't have shown here, the Le Pens you'll probably have to buy there. And then of course the Erin Condren pens you'll need to get from the Erin Condren website. But for the most part, that's everything. Those are all the main categories. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.